have gone on now to, have some major success online. I mean, at the time of we're recording this right now, you've got close to like 4 million subscribers on YouTube. How the heck do you do that? How do you go from 0 to having like almost 4 million subscribers on YouTube? I mean, that is an achievement, right?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's been an incredible journey, but I started out on YouTube and I set the channel up in 2011. Didn't really do much with it, but I set it up. It's called Careervidz. I set it up and I would upload a video every now and again, and then I would do a little bit more in my spare time. And I wasn't really making anything from it, but I enjoyed the creative side. But I also remember I kept asking myself, what content can I create that's going to be helpful to my viewers? But also one of the strengths that I have is that if I upload something or if I do something in my business, if it doesn't work, it doesn't deter me. I will then ask the question, why hasn't that worked? So I'm quite analytical with YouTube. I'll look at the audience retention rate and see where people are leaving the video. Have I said something in that video that would make them want to leave? So I was always looking to try and improve my skills as a presenter. And eventually I would start to see progress. And if you look at the trajectory line of my channel on YouTube, for the first 6 or 7 years, I didn't really make hardly any money from it, but it didn't bother me. I knew that if I kept improving and I kept going, eventually the results would come, and they did. Round about 2018, I started to really see a difference. So I got there through constantly improving, investing in the channel as well. So when I started making money, I was putting some of that back in. Better thumbnails, better equipment. So like, for example, in the last year, I've upgraded the filming camera. Literally spent thousands on a camera. I didn't have that. But in the early days, I was using my smartphone. But I got 1 million views on a video from just a smartphone. So I was starting out, but I knew I would be buying something better. So it's continual improvement, never giving in, enjoying it, but also making sure the content that you create, or the content I created, was not just done to get content out there, because I think it's a mistake people make, but giving people, my viewers, really good content. And also, there was something else that I did from an early age on the YouTube channel, was that I would respond to every comment. So I would say to people in the video, if you have any questions, put them in the comments below the video. And I knew that was a good thing, because I would build a community and I would help people. I would give free advice. So not only was the content I was giving in the videos free, I was also responding to questions, giving advice for free. But what that did, it built up a community, and that community got stronger and stronger. And just the final thing I was focused on was valuing my subscribers. So yeah, I have, almost 4 million subscribers on YouTube. I have 4.5 million on TikTok. So there's a combined 8.5 million followers. But when I had 100 subscribers, I valued them as 100 people. So I hear influencers say, oh, I've only got 1,000 followers, or I'm like, yeah, but that's 1,000 people who are interested in you. Let's say you've got 100 subscribers or 100 followers. You might not think that's a lot of people, but if you were running a seminar or you were coaching 100 people and you had 100 people, physical people in a room, you would think, wow. So I always look at the subscribers as real people, and I value them. And that's why I take time to respond to them, go back, offer free advice. And then that has the alternative effect for me that the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, likes the channel because people are spending more time on it. So I now employ somebody to answer all the comments, because they're literally coming in every few minutes. But we still stick to that original belief that we will help people for free. Of course, I sell products from there, but I don't use the YouTube platform as just something to sell, because no one goes on there to buy anything. People go on YouTube for news, entertainment, information. That's what they go on there for.
where did you learn to be such a good entrepreneur, Rick? Because some of the things of what you're saying here, obviously I've known you for a long time, and some of the things of what you're saying, obviously we're speaking about discipline, obviously I get that. That can come from, your strong background as a firefighter in the Navy, stuff like that. But even these other concepts of what you're saying now in terms of how you're treating people, having 100 people, and it's like, look, I don't care, even if I only had 100 subscribers, I'm going to treat them, as 100 different people, so that concept of just being, giving good value. And, you also mentioned about, in the early days, you might have a video, it might not do very well, but you just keep on going. So failure has not ever really kind of stopped you. It's never kind of got in your way. The reason why I'm asking, because obviously we coach lots of people, and some of the things of what we might come up against is, people might make a little mistake, they might hit a challenge. And as a result of that, well, that don't work, that's what I hear that a lot, but Jerry, that don't work. And what they basing that on is because they've tried something and it hasn't worked. But you seem like you've got a real stellar mindset. Where did, all right, we understand the discipline and that sort of thing, but to become such a good entrepreneur, where did that come from?
I think it must have come from my time in the Navy and also the fire service, where you would be in some really challenging situations. So, for example, I attended many road traffic collisions, car accidents, where people were injured or, they were really badly trapped. And I can remember I would go to these incidents sometimes as the person in charge. So I was the station officer or the sub officer. And it was up to me to direct the team of how to get this person out of the car. And more often than not, you would try something and it wouldn't work. So you don't have the luxury or the facility to go, sorry, we tried to get you out of the car, but we couldn't. You can't stop until you find the correct solution. And there always is a solution. There always is. And so that was drilled into me just through going to incidents and having that pressure of being there, being the person in charge. It's up to you. You've got to sort this out. You can't call on anybody else. Yeah, you would use your team. There was a lot of talented people in the fire service, and you would ask them, what do you think? How can we do this? How can we achieve our goal? But I just always had that mindset, and I've taken that on into business, that there is always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. But people, I see it all the time. People try things. Oh, it didn't work for me. Well, what else did you do? That's my question. What else did you try? And I also see it is failure, but I like to see it as an opportunity to learn. So I see failure, if we're going to call it that, as an opportunity for me to find out what will work. So I don't beat myself up if something doesn't work. If I put a video out there and it doesn't do particularly well, I don't feel great about it, but I will ask the question, why hasn't it worked? There's a reason why it hasn't worked. So in the early days, I would upload videos on a Friday and they wouldn't do particularly well. And I would think, is it the video? Do they not like it? All it was, I was uploading it on the wrong day when people weren't on my channel as much. So that then told the YouTube algorithm, people aren't watching it. But then when I uploaded it on a Tuesday at 12 o'clock midday, where everyone's on the channel, it would do really well. But I could have uploaded the videos and said to myself, oh, nobody wants to watch them. But I thought, what am I doing wrong? So I'm learning. It's an opportunity to learn. And then you go, right, that's ticked off. I know what to do now. I know the time of day when to upload my videos onto YouTube. So it's just about continually improving. And I think there's a bit of a barrier for some people, is they think that the older they get, the better they become. And it's not always true. You should always be open to learning. Like I have a business partner, Josh, I think he's 30 or 32, really smart lad. Like I'm 20 years older than him, but he is a lot smarter than me in certain ways from a technical perspective. So I want to learn from him. He's 20 years younger than me. He hasn't had the jobs I've had, but he's still a very smart person. And I can learn from him. So that's part of the mindset as well, is being open to learning from anybody and then taking that information and applying yourself.